This section of notes is an introduction to weather. After watching this video, you will be able to define weather and identify the atmospheric characteristics used to describe it. You will also be able to identify the instruments and units used to measure the atmospheric variables. Weather is defined as the short-term condition of the atmosphere at a given location. When talking about the weather, short-term generally means a few hours or days. Weather is important to everyone. No matter what your outdoor plan, it is likely that weather will be an important issue. It may help you to understand weather if you think of the workings of the atmosphere in terms of energy distribution. Earth gets most of its energy in the form of radiation, heat and light from the sun. However, the distribution of solar energy is not the same all over the planet. Weather helps distribute solar energy over Earth's surface. If it were not for its atmosphere and weather, Earth would be a much less comfortable place. We would face extreme temperature changes over Earth's surface. The weather conditions that concern us most are temperature, sky conditions, precipitation, atmospheric pressure, humidity, wind speed, and wind direction. We will study each of these variables in more detail as we progress through this unit. But for this section of notes, you will simply need to know what the variable is, what instrument is used to measure it, and what are the units of measurement. Temperature is a measure of the average vibrational energy of molecules. The higher the temperature, the more kinetic energy the atmosphere contains. We measure temperature with a thermometer. The most common kind of thermometer has a bulb that contains a liquid, such as a colored alcohol. The liquid expands when it is heated, moving up the narrow, calibrated neck of the thermometer. When the temperature decreases, the liquid contracts and moves down the neck. There are two temperature scales that you should be familiar with. The first one is degrees Fahrenheit, and the second one is degrees Celsius. Air pressure is caused by the weight of the atmosphere. A barometer is an instrument used to measure air pressure. All barometers measure the weight of the atmosphere. Air pressure is measured in millibars. Humidity is the water vapor content of the air. Meteorologists use several methods to determine the moisture content of the atmosphere. They use a sling psychrometer and a dew point temperature table to determine the dew point. Humidity is normally measured in percentage. To fully describe winds, you need to determine the wind speed and the wind direction. Wind speed is measured with an anemometer. The cups on an anemometer catch the wind, causing the anemometer to spin. An indicator shows the wind speed. The wind direction is shown by a wind vane, which is built to point into the wind. It is important to remember that winds are named according to the direction from which they come. A north wind in New York State usually brings cold weather because it comes from the north where it is usually colder. Precipitation is water that falls from the sky. It may be in the form of rain, snow, sleet, hail, or other less common forms of precipitation. Precipitation is measured with a rain gauge. This instrument can be as simple as a cylindrical container open at the top. The amount of rain is reported as a depth in inches or centimeters, or other convenient unit. If precipitation falls as snow, it may be converted to its liquid rainfall equivalent. Now that you have finished watching this video, please copy the atmospheric variables flowchart into your notebook. Rewatch the video, and as you're watching it, fill in the instrument used to measure each atmospheric variable and the units used to measure that. In the first row underneath the name of the atmospheric variable, you will write down the instrument that is used to measure that variable. Underneath the instrument is where you will put the units that are used to measure it. Please bring your notebook to class with you so that I can check your homework.